Mr.
Go ahead,
Joseph,
you can start. You are live. Go ahead.
Mr. Joseph, can you hear me?
Due process, you are live. Please go ahead. You are live. Go ahead.
Mr. Joseph, are you there? Sorry. It's an error from my part. Can you hear me now?
Please go ahead. You are live.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for apologies for starting a bit late. Tonight's COPDEM People's Parliament, we're going to be dissecting socio-political issues tonight. Trending topics that will affect Nigerians nationwide. Tonight on COPDEM People's Parliament, we'll be dissecting 4 major headlines. First on our list is electoral reform. That remains a burning topic. Nigerians are demanding answers to what works for conducting credible election come 2027. Then number 2 is shadow government. The DSS has dragged Professor Patu Tomi to court on grounds that is on grounds of treason. Number 3 is terrorism in Nigeria, executive compromise by the executive and National Assembly docility. The National Assembly are expected to put the executive to check, but they've not succeeded in doing that over the years. Then number 4 is African Democratic Coalition in 2027. Choice of presidential candidates. That is where the coalition is having behind-the-scenes discussion to arrive at a credible presidential candidate that will be appealing to the Nigerian populace, the Nigerian masses who are victims of the current administration in terms of policy, bad policies that will affect the generality of Nigerians. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on Zoom tonight, I have with me on Zoom Mr. Jobson. Mr. Jobson is joining us from Kwara State, regular on the program. Mr. Jobson, you're welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament. Mr. Jobson, can you confirm to hear me, please? Okay, while we anticipate Mr. Jobson's reaction, I will continue the discussion tonight. Electoral reform, Nigerians demand better. What happened in 2023 election calls for a total reform of the electoral empire. We saw a situation where there were deliberate efforts to downplay and to stop the proper functioning of the beavers under the guise of privilege. My generation can understand why that will still pop up come 2027. So there are a number of items that are being presented for electoral reform in order to be able to win the confidence of Nigeria that probably come 2027, the INEC will not have choice than to do the right thing, uploading results straight from the polling units, such that it hits the central server, and in real time, Nigerians will be able to monitor the outcome of our general election right from their fingertips without necessarily being at the polling units. Then, second on the list is the troubling topic that's centered on shadow governments. Globally, In advanced countries that have been in democracy for years, there is the idea of shadow government is not to suppress the government of the day, but to provide the government of the day with alternative, to provide them with better ideas. The situation where only one technocrat or a minister is appointed to oversee a particular ministry. Of course, there is a saying that two good heads are better than one. Instead of having just one minister that seems to be struggling to provide Nigeria with the needed change, this is where the concept of shadow government becomes very important in order to give direction in face of poor performance and inability of the government to deliver on our promise of good governance. It's just like having a team of think tank who provides solution, who provides alternative to governance. Instead of these talks, for instance, Minister of Health, without making any headway in providing as low as primary health care. The idea of the shadow government is to provide direction, policy framework that works, bringing together best brain within that profession, just to offer direction. But the government of the day, due to her unpopular status, of course, bad governance does not have the people's support. On that note, they feel insecure to embrace this noble idea of shadow government that has been presented by, heavily led by Professor Patrick. So this is the situation we're going to have to court, and is an unruly behavior, dragging group of people coming together to provide alternative to court on grounds of treason. We've seen terrorists that have done worse to Nigerians and the Nigerian government, kill our soldiers. The disturbing one I watched from Zamfara, where a senator lamented that bandits are now using newborn babies, to feed their dogs. This is unacceptable. To any sane mind with conscience should see the rescue mission as a do or die, because it's unthinkable. I've never heard about such thing. Globally, the terrorists use newborn to feed dogs. Yes, Nigerians are going about their normal business. The level of docility in the National Assembly cut across the entire country. This is a country where the citizens are active. Why not? To take over the whole of the road leading to the Asura. People, those side. I don't know at what point Nigerians will wake up to reality. Now we are already at war. We are at war with elements that the government is showing sympathy. enough is enough. And at what point will Nigerians take over the streets? Mr. Jobson, have you resolved your network?
Yeah. Yes, the network is actually because it's raining here in Kwara.
Oh, glad you're having a rainfall.
Yes, yes. So the network is somehow not stable.
We have the same rainfall here in Abuja. Please have a say on this four topics that we so presented. I feel demoralized with the news.
All right.
Bells.
Thank you for joining this program once again this evening. It's a pleasure being here tonight once again. Dear listeners, I want to encourage you. This program is one of the best programs as far as socio-political issue is concerned in Nigeria today. And I urge everyone hearing the sound of my voice from wherever you are hearing it to always key in and join this program so that the voice of the voiceless can be heard in Nigeria. This is a program that dissects socio-political issues as it affects Nigerians all over these federations. So please, I'm urging every one of you that is hearing my voice today all over the world to key in and speak your voice so that Nigeria can be a better place for both of us. Thank you once again, and welcome to COPDEM People Parliament on DDM. On the trending story tonight, I would like to talk about the electoral reform. I think it's high time INEC should listen to the voice of Nigerians. Nigerians are clamoring for electoral reform. I don't think this is difficult for INEC to do, except if they have other interior motive. Our electoral system needs to be reformed as far as 2027 is concerned. We shouldn't go into that election without electoral reform. INEC should not conduct any elections come 2027 without the reformations of the electoral system, especially the aspect of transmission, electoral transmissions. We need a reformation in that system. We need a system that will give us a clear values of what we are going to do in 2027. If not, I don't think there is any reason for Nigerians to go into 2027 election. We need to reform our electoral system. It is very, very bad. What we see in 2023 should not repeat itself, whereby INEC will come out and start telling us, oh, the general server is having issue, the intermediary is having problem, the cutoff, the glitch, or the likes. We shouldn't hear something of such come 2027. And that is the reason why I'm urging Nigeria to come out in mass. We need to come out. We need to speak our voice. This is our country. We don't have any other country except we are deceiving ourselves. We are Nigerians. I will forever be a Nigerian. We need our electoral system to be reformed. And that is why we are shouting every day and night. INEC should listen to us and make the necessary step right now. Because 2027 is not going to be business as usual if they think so. We are not saying anything more than that. All we know is reform this electoral system so that Nigerians can see it and believe in a nation that the process of the election will be free and fair. They will be able to select and elect their candidates in which they choose themselves to be for them. Because I don't know why we can't give a system whereby everybody will be free to go and vote. Everybody will know, if I vote, my vote will be counted and my choice of candidate will be elected. Nigeria electoral system needs to come to that level that they will make the citizens, the assurance should be there for the citizens. They need to tell the citizens the right things at the right time now, because we need all this information from them. And they shouldn't do what they do in 2023. Because many people are very, very sad about what happened in 2023. And that is why we we are clamoring for an electoral reformation in Nigeria electoral system. That is my take on that.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson. While you are making your presentation, we have joining us Mr. Rampan Jr., our national champion, COPDEM, all the way from Plateau State. Mr. Pan, good evening, nice to have you joining us once again on COPDEM People's Parliament.
Thank you very much, due process. And our guest, Joe, it's nice hearing you again.
Yes, we understand you're coming at the right time, and I don't know if you are disposed to speak on one of the items we are considering today is the African Democratic Coalition 2027. That's the fourth on our item, where we are looking into the presidential candidate, the permutation, the ongoing behind the scene discussion, and what Nigerians are really expecting from the coalition. We understand you were in the meeting here, you held the part of the next meeting of the ADC. Can you tell Nigerians what transpired? Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, due process, and an excellent time, morning, evening, afternoon, for those of you who are listening. Like you said, it was the NEC meeting, National Executive Committee meeting, and it is only the NEC that can reveal the content of the meeting to the public, or that part that is to go to the public. But one thing I can say for sure is the coalition is waxing stronger and stronger by the day. Nigerians are getting to realize the importance of having a meaningful mega opposition party that will give Nigerians the alternative, and that alternative is ADC. From all sources, ADC has earned the respect of the political class, and especially those who are dissatisfied with the status quo, those who believe Nigeria deserves better leadership, those who believe Nigeria deserves a better condition of living, better economy, and of course, prosperity and progress for all its citizens, like the giant of Africa used to be in the days of old. Nigeria is now regarded as a poverty capital, and people are suffering and suffering to starvation. Due process is on a daily basis. People in almost every motor park you stop, you find people come to ask you, Oga, I think get something to chop. They don't know you, you don't know them. That's how bad it has gotten. So we are moving on, and it is gaining good momentum. It is probably very necessary to point out at this stage that a coalition is for a purpose. Like they say, there is no permanent friend or permanent enemy in politics, only permanent interests. But a coalition of magnitude, in order to achieve its objectives of a greater, better, more prosperous Nigeria, why don't we do away of not permanent friends, not permanent enemies, in fact, not interest? How about permanent ideology? How about a permanent way of thinking, which is making Nigeria great? Not anybody's interest, but Nigeria. So that is the narrative, that is the path of wisdom, that everybody is carried along and everybody should be carried along. Those forming the coalition have their own roles to play, and the masses have a very, very important role to play in the coalition as members of the coalition. In fact, come straight, join ADC, and let's make things work. So the coalition would have defeated its purpose if it is not able to achieve these things for Nigeria. So it is just step one in the process of making Nigeria great. Let us face the facts. Nigeria will not change overnight, but it will take resolute action. It will take a committed followership. We're now targeting 1 million members of the ADC from each state of the Federation and the FCT. We want the president of Nigeria come 2027 to win with 35 million, 37, I beg your pardon, 37.5 million people power in literal action. For those of us who are tired of the suffering, for those of us who are tired of money for school fees, for those who are sick and cannot afford medicine, they're all going for traditional medicine. For those who have finished school and they're not employed, this is the time to act. Enough of the complaining. And then resigning to fate is not an alternative. It doesn't do anything. It means we have surrendered our sovereignty to the crooked political system that Nigeria has been turned to. It is technically, as we speak, almost a one-party state. It is technically, as we speak, visibly, it is the corrupt people who have gathered on one side, and they intend to remain in power, and they will never give it to you. The people have the power. Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, by the people, which means if the people do not act, that by has been absent. It is the people that will make the democracy work. So the coalition is waxing strong. In the next couple of days or weeks, we're going to see massive changes in the Nigerian polity, and it will be time for decision making. Instead of waiting and planning protests and losing lives, let us join the process. And while we join the process, we begin to take steps that will ensure free and fair elections. That also cannot be given to us freely, because it will disenfranchise the corrupt politicians. They don't want free and fair elections. They want it the way it is. So the people, that by the people, that means the people need to ask for electoral reform. I noticed that in the first item on the agenda. If you don't ask for justice, you will not get it. So if somebody, a thief, robs your house and you go to bed and say, oh God, help me, that is all that you will get. Or you go just carry your things and go to the farm and go to work. Nobody will give you justice. You demand for justice, and electoral demands are justified. So by the people is the essence now. People, come and join this coalition and let us redeem Nigeria and begin to set it right. So thank you very much, due process. Let me stop here at this point.
Thank you for that background on the coalition and the journey so far. It's not impossible to have 37.5 million people having to vote in the next president of Nigeria. After all, we are over 250 million. So if we are just targeting 37.5 million, it's achievable. We only anticipate that Nigerians should be able to come down from their high horse, come down from the posture of sitting on the fence, expecting that God will do everything for them. God cannot do that which human beings should do for themselves. People must understand the place of God and the place of human. Humans should be able to do things that God has given them the brain and the ability to do for themselves. God cannot come down, play the role of man. God has no business with voting. But human beings have business with voting, because everybody cannot lead everybody. It takes somebody to lead and grant and give direction. to others. So therefore, we need leadership. In that case, humans need to look into certain ingredients, certain qualities in deciding who should be their leader. Talking about character, competency, capacity, compassion, accountability. These are focal aspects of ingredients that it should put into consideration in the choice of leadership globally. And Nigeria cannot be in isolation. If we want to be in Nigeria, then we must consider all these 5 C's in deciding leadership. I see no reason why, when it comes to buying stock in the market, you don't care about which tribe. You go to the hospital, you are sick, you don't give a damn about which tribe, the doctor or the nurse that's treating you. But when it comes to deciding the quality of human being that sits in Aso Villa, to decide the quality of drugs, the quality of security, the quality of housing, the quality of good roads, the quality of jobs, the quality of life of all Nigerians, we now start looking at religion, start looking at tribe. Those things are rolling us backward. And Nigerians, we should be able to justify the investment government has made on education, to educate the masses. If we base our judgment on those parochial conditions of tribe, religion, then we have not made progress. It means we are saying even stone ages should be better off, you know. So on that basis, we are calling for Nigerians to unlearn the tribal religious bigotry that is transferred from generation to generation. Nigeria has the quality to become world leader. We are supposed to be leading on positive ratings, not on negative ratings as it is currently. Nigeria is leading on corruption. It should not be like that. Nigeria is now talking in terrorism. Growing up, we didn't hear Nigeria being part of any form of terrorism. But today, the story is no more the same. So, national channels, I don't know if you want to have a talk on the shadow government. Where DSS dragged Professor Patu told me to court in ground that he declared a shadow government. I believe the DSS and the police, the government of the day seem to be acting based on ignorance or abuse of power. Shadow government, as it were, has been practiced across the world. It is not meant to overthrow any government. Rather, it is meant to give solution on policy direction to governments who probably lack the right hands to be able to project their policy in the right direction. That's the importance of shadow government, to offer direction that works, instead of having limited 1 or 2 expatriates in the ministry of giving direction. Shadow government provides a quantum of expatriates, quantum of professionals who will offer policy framework, policy direction that works and give clear-cut approach on how these policies are going to be implemented. So, Mr. Pan, I don't know if you are available to speak on the shadow government where Professor Patu told me has been dragged to court. What do you say? Mr. Pan, okay.
Yes, this issue of shadow government, or rather particularly the action of the federal government on Professor Pat Tony, dragging him to.
We are losing you. I cannot hear you.
On on Democracy Radio that they said is illegal. First of all, there's a freedom of association. And once that association
Mr. Thompson, we seem to be losing you at some point.
Hello, due process. Are you there?
We seem to be losing you at some points.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm a bit more stable now. Okay, so once there's a freedom of association, it is a right for people who want to associate to mingle, whether it is cooperative, whether it is a workers' union or the labor, like we have it, the Association National Road Transport Workers. That association, as long as it doesn't contravene the Constitution, is okay. And what is the duty of shadow government? Now, just before I explain, or the functions, we have to realize that in developed countries, the opposition help to shape policies by their mere position as opposition parties. They bring out, they critique the government, the incumbent, and proffer in most instances better ways of doing what the government is doing in terms of policies. So they help to shape the policies of the incumbent, to make the policies more people-centered, policies that are crystal clear, policies that are actionable, policies that are achievable in the interest of the progress of the nation. It does not pay the opposition any good, anything nice for the country to go into oblivion. So if they critique the government in power, the government uses that. Look, for every reasonable government, an opposition critique is a very important feedback. While we were in the corridors of the government some 20 years ago, in the year 2001 precisely, I was the first special assistant to the governor. We know how the corridors are. People always tell the number one that things are good. They will always tell the president or the governor that this is what should be done. And he doesn't really get the feedback. He say, oh, people are happy with your policies. Why? Because they're only listening to themselves and their cranes. And they make the suggestion of the policy. So they will always tell the number one that it is good. Are they the experts? Is knowledge limited to them? Do they have the monopoly of perfect counsel, advice that will change the trajectory or improve the lives of the citizens? No, it's not possible. In the Nigerian situation currently, we are not having opposition. The first three parties, according to INEC, from the declaration of the results in 2023, APC, the incumbent, the ruling party, PDP, and the Labour Party. Now, APC is the incumbent, so it cannot advise itself objectively. It may try if it really has people who are not after their pockets, people who are not singing on your mandate, but people who are critical so that the policies they will churn out will be in the interest of the people of the Republic generally, of Nigeria, to be precise in this instance. But we don't have opposition. PDP has been unable to actually meet, let alone come together and actually criticize the government and actually survey the government, see its policies, and write a response of their own opinion about what should be done and how it should be done best. Once in a while, we hear His Excellency, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, throwing in some of this. And from the Labour Party, it's almost the same. I mean, theirs is worse. apart from the fact that the Labour Party could not manage the success it got in 2023, it is like it is cancerous to its own self. It is destroying it in its own self. Labour Party is imploding, PDP is imploding, so they don't really have time to give that critical observation and commentary and comments on what the current government is doing. So in the absence of a viral and effective opposition, there is a need for voices to stand up of ordinary people, Nigerians of all walks of life, to say, okay, let us help this government get the voice of the people from our different angles. These are even people who are maybe professionals or experts or people who have long-time experience or who have studied some of these things in detail. So they come together, check the policy of government, and then say, okay, this one is good, okay, but this one, I think the government should have done better, should have done this way or this way. That is all. So I keep wondering, what the heck is the government thinking? They should be paying the shadow government consultation fee for giving them free advice. Are they plotting a coup? No. Are they threatening to remove the government? No. Are they calling for protest, which has been since the day the government removed subsidy? No, they're not even doing that. For goodness sake, what is wrong with somebody telling you, you didn't do this one right, do it this way? Is Nigeria belonging to the APC alone? It belongs to the whole of them. Is Nigeria now the Federal Republic of the APC? No, it is still the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is President Tinubu the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of APC? No, he would have just been commanding, according to INEC, 10 million people. What of the other 240 million? So the current government should position and realize that even if the process that brought it into power is one of the worst processes ever in election history anywhere in Africa, while they are there, they should be open to open dialogue and listen to criticism from experts, which is a veritable feedback for anybody who really, truly has the interest of the country at heart. So it is laughable and disgusting for them to drag Professor Patutomi to court. On what grounds? They don't know that anytime they do this, they lose the sympathy of the Nigerian public. Anytime they attempt such shenanigans, they attract more dislike for their party. So it is uncalled for. As far as I'm concerned, police, DSS, the military are for Nigeria, and they are not tools for the incumbent to use to oppress dissenting voices or anybody who has a different opinion. And unless they change that, many more Nigerians will vote them out in 2027. If they want to actually contest, they should at least do the needful. But even if they don't want to contest, they have sworn as government to protect the lives of the citizens, to provide the welfare, to look out for the welfare of the citizens. And that is the advice that the shadow government is giving them free. Due process, I rest my case.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pan. As a matter of fact, Nigerian politicians, they don't, once the moment they're in power, they don't believe that power is transient. He who is on the throne today, tomorrow, he will not be there. It is a chain that will not stop at a point. It will continue to roll. So, today they are in power, they are closing every form of opposition. They want to have a one-party system, which there will be implosion. It will never work. In Nigeria, you want to have a one-party system, you are rather preparing this for the ceremony of your burial ceremony, because there is no way this whole one-party team will work. Nigeria is a diversity, a country with over so many thousands of tribes and different ethnic nationalities. You want to bundle them in just one party. How do you think it will work? We are planning. It's where we're planning to pass, we're planning to fail. APC want to practice one party system, and they're not shy about it. As a matter of fact, they make reference to China. China does it. But the same Gandhi, the APC chairman, failed to reference China for executing their corrupt officials. If Gandhi were to be in China, he would have been dead by now. Because the video is there, evidence where he was touching in dollars into his barbarian. Very shameless group of people. They are all criminals in the APC. And there's no way they can succeed come to 27 because they are already preparing for their own downfall. You know, there's a way a military leader will look around and see that every other person is subordinate to him. Now he will give himself the title of Field Marshal. So the APC are trying to give themselves that title of Field Marshal, where nobody can query them. But I bet you they are preparing for their downfall. Because 2027, the only remedy to peace, the only remedy to having a peaceful country that will not implode into anarchy is when there is transparent election, irrespective of who emerges winner. But if the process is flawed, like we had in 2023, Nigerians will not agree. And I'm one of them, I will not agree. So there will be trouble. On that note, we are wrapping up tonight's program. Thanks, Mr. Palm, for joining us and making a very wonderful contribution. Thank you, Mr. Jefferson from Farah. I appreciate your timely contribution and being very vital for this program People's Parliament. Your wealth of experiences keep making our program better and better every day. While we implore Nigerians to continue to find way to be part of our subsequent program, we're releasing our landline for those who probably do not have the opportunity to join us via Zoom, to be able to call in during our program to have their contribution on the topic of the day. And the landline is 080 62 55 7980. I take it again, 080 62 55 7980. Mr. Pan, you want to have a final word for the day?
I just want to say thank you very much for the People's Parliament. I also want to say for those who want a better Nigeria, the African Democratic Congress is the next big thing in Nigeria's political space. It is a party that is not made up of a coalition of a diversity of politicians who are of good intentions, but the greater part of the coalition is the Nigerian people. So when we say coalition, we're not looking for politicians alone. The best coalition is when the citizens join the movement. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. The best coalition is when the citizens have a right of place and are duly involved. On this note, all Nigerians that have been sitting on the fence over the years, we are encouraging you to summon the courage and join the process. We cannot continue to lament without making impact. You cannot continue to lament without taking it as a personal responsibility to join the voices of Nigerians that are calling for change. On this note, it will be goodbye from here as we prepare for tomorrow's space. We'll be having an exhaustive discussion on the way forward. Thank you and have a lovely night rest. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
All right, bye-bye. Good night. Good night.